Gallego. Gallego. Ruben. Ruben is recognized.
Appreciate the effort, Chairman. I really do. Secretary Austin, thank you for being here. This administration has built an impressive coalition of allies and partners to support Ukraine, including the Ukraine Defense Contact Group that you lead. Looking ahead to the next few months, can you share your expectations for this summer's NATO summit? Also, what steps have you taken and are you taking to further European security? Specifically, I'm looking at the Baltic states, since we do have a Baltic security initiative as part of our NDA here.
Well, thanks, sir. As we go into the summit, I think what you'll see in that summit is a strong display of unity. No one imagined that this alliance would be as unified as it is today. You know, a year ago or several years ago, you recall that we were discussing the relevance of NATO several years ago, and now not only are countries united, we see resolve that we haven't seen in a very, very long time, and we see countries investing more in their defense, and so I think what you'll see going into that summit is a call to action for countries to invest even more. To number one, meet the Wales pledge of 2% of their GDP, but to exceed that and invest in relevant capabilities that can strengthen NATO's efforts. So I think those two things you'll see as prominent in the summit.
Thank you, Secretary. General Milley, thank you for your testimony and, of course, for your decades of service. In your testimony, you referred to private military companies that Russia relies on to undermine other nations' sovereignty. To the extent possible in this open setting, can you share your perspective on the relationship between the Wagner Group and the Russian forces at the operational level? And are you seeing the Wagner Group's presence in Africa change as a result of the war in Ukraine?
As you know, the Wagner Group is a mercenary private military company. They're conducting combat operations right now in Bakhmut primarily. There's probably about 6,000 or so actual mercenaries and maybe another 20 or 30,000 recruits that they get, many of whom come from prisons. And they are suffering an enormous amount of casualties in the Bakhmut area. The Ukrainians are inflicting a lot of death and destruction on these guys. In addition to Bakhmut and Ukraine, Wagner Group is in many, many other places, most notably in West Africa, where they essentially have taken over a country. And they've pushed out the French out of, I think it was Mali, and some other places. So the Wagner Group is a very aggressive group. It's led by a very ruthless guy, Prigozhin. He purports to be a businessman, but he's got an incredible criminal background behind him. So this is a dangerous group. They're quite large, they're quite powerful, and they have at least reached throughout parts of Europe and into Africa and maybe some parts of the Middle East. We ran into them in the Middle East a couple of years ago in Syria, about a battalion-sized force that was attacking one of our positions, and we destroyed that force. So they are there, they're aggressive, most of them are former Russian soldiers of one kind or another. A lot of internationals work with them as well. So very dangerous group, long reach, very wealthy, very rich, and they are probably very disruptive internal to Russian society.
Thank you, Chairman. Secretary Austin, in your testimony, you highlighted the challenges both China and Russia pose. What step is the administration taking, or steps, to counter both Chinese and Russian influence in Africa and South America?
Thanks, sir. The most effective way to counter their efforts in those areas is presence. You know, what our combatant commanders are doing to not only be present in those spaces, but also help our partners, our allies, build partner capacity as well. And so, for the investment of a small number of professionals working with partners, we can achieve tremendous results. But presence speaks volumes, and so we're going to continue to do what's necessary to make sure that our partners in the region, in those various regions, know that we're the best investment, we're the best partner to have, and we're going to be with them for the long term.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.